Welcome to One Bite at a Time, a podcast where I, Chef Wu,
and I, Chef V,
discuss our hospitality and culinary sector from both our professional and personal experiences.
and touch on all the things that make us smile, cry, laugh, shout, and celebrate, all whilst trying to figure out how to set the standard.
One bite at a time. On today's episode, we have, first of all, my friend, my sister, but also a culinary educator, a true food lover, Atim Ukoh. Did I say your surname right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
that would have been so poor of
I'm
me.
screaming. I was just saying you're my sister.
When you meet Atim, you meet someone that is very humble, that is very demure. Demure is actually a perfect word for it. Very demure in how she carries herself. But the whack she is carrying on her back is second to none. And if God gave me just an ounce of that humility, maybe my life would be a bit better. But I wouldn't be Wumi. So it's only right. But Atim does that for us. She has been in the industry more than a decade.
Yes.
And she has achieved global recognition and she has accolades on her back that very few people can even hold a candle, a matchstick to her. And I
accolades
absolutely
are
love
manuscript, honestly.
I don't feel like this is me you're talking about.
that. Okay.
Anyway, Atim is honestly a true gem. Some of you may know her as AfroLems. And Atim, over the course of her career, has curated and built an exceptional brand focusing on truly telling a beautiful story of where Nigerian ingredients are going, from event catering to private dining, the canapes, the pop-ups, everything that you do, the panel discussions.
She's a TEDx speaker.
Exactly.
Come on.
Let's put some respect on her name. Like, you know, it's a huge privilege to have Atim here with us, and it's even better of a privilege to say she's our friend.
Exactly.
So Atim, welcome to the One Bite stage. And please, I mean, we've gushed you, but we would also love to hear a little bit about yourself from your own mouth.
I don't know how to match up what both of you have said. But yes, Atim Ukoh, AfroLems, started about 14 years ago now. Yeah, fun times. To be fair, I didn't think it would be all of this. I was sitting with my mom. I've told this story so many times. I was sitting with my mom in my apartment in Toronto, and I was like, oh, my friends are starting stuff and I want to do something. And she's like, you're feeding people for free all the time. Just charge them for it. And I was like, okay. And so I started making like stew, designer stew, because that was something that I saw like with catering abroad, nobody was doing. So I started making designer stew. And then I just started posting recipes of the things that I started to add to my menu.
Okay.
And then I saw that took a life of its own. And I was like, oh, actually, people don't know how to make this stuff. So let me just keep posting recipes. And then I think at the time I was checking and it was just pictures that people were posting. There was this blog called Alhaji Bashiri at the time. They moved to Food and Lens. They were the only ones really posting anything. So I started posting. And yeah, AfroLems now became this whole beast, you know, and I moved back to Nigeria and I was like, okay, I'm not going to do the same thing I was doing abroad. I'm going to try to make it different. I now have like a wealth of experience with food, just different cultures. Living in Toronto did that for me. And so I was trying to figure out how to now make it interesting for Nigerians. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now.
I think what's so interesting, especially for the time that you came out, most people who have started that long ago and created such a cult following online, you see that traditionally they were more like the home cook style kind of individuals. But I think you showed that heavily entrepreneurial side from the beginning, and that kind of following, I think, was very interesting to see that.
Yeah.
You
So
had that.
I think what helped is I have 2 degrees in entrepreneurship. I'll say that. So I took literally my learnings from school into work, well, into this fun thing I was doing. And that, I guess, guided the process for me. So it wasn't just random. It was me literally saying, okay, I'm going to use this as my case study for everything I'm learning in school. But yeah.
So would you say business is one of those things that have heavily driven your brand to where it is today?
Yes. I always think about things from the business perspective. So my first degree was in digital enterprise management, essentially managing a business online. So we did law courses, we did accounting, we did strategy, project everything that a business school will teach you, but do it for an online business. So technically I took AfroLems and just used that as a platform to learn all the parts. So yeah.
You genius. Love it. And I think, honestly, the beauty of that is what you've built has taken on a life of its own. And the beauty of it is that it has kind of gone into different caveats of the ecosystem. So from being a TEDx speaker, you worked or you were part of the documentary with Anthony Bourdain, the work you do for...
Say his name again, please, so we know exactly who Atim was.
It was on CNN, wasn't it?
Yeah.
She was part of she's one of the very few Nigerians that can sit down and say she sat with Anthony Bourdain and she was part of a documentary he was making when he came to Nigeria. And that in itself, if that was me,
Honestly,
you would walk into my house and it'll be the first thing you see.
you know how some people put on their profiles is, I would just see Atim. No, if it was me, Chef V, Anthony Bourdain, certified documentarist.
Literally
Screaming.
average person, and that's why I speak about her humility so much, because what's the word? The weight that the work you've done carries. I genuinely, and I don't say this lightly, think there is anyone in the industry, in this country, that can say they have done as much and impacted is the word, not influence, impacted the industry with their work as much as Atim has. And this is why she's my big sis. Cause I pick up the phone and I'm like, I'm about to misbehave. How would you handle this situation? Because honestly, you need
She
people
doesn't listen either way, but that's fine.
No, you know.
No, you do it a little bit.
Anyway,
She's got 2 verses to say. She does not listen.
oh well,
It's okay.
okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
And the most important thing is that they love me. You all do.
That was great.
But I want us to go into the episode, and Vanessa has put together a really beautiful way of navigating Atim's story and the work she's done. I think the driving force behind a lot of your work is storytelling, in all the work you do. And I feel like that's the best thing to discuss. So discussing the importance of food storytelling from our ingredients to the work that different people are doing in the industry to, whether it's visual, video, audio. And it's something that you've done all. She had a podcast with her mum. Like, there's nothing... Atim is that person that you're like, there's nothing new under the sun because Atim has done it.
If you check it, she's done it.
She's done it.
Yeah.
But the core of it all is storytelling. Yeah. So I think you're the best person to like kind of have that conversation about what the importance of food storytelling is in our ecosystem. So I think the best way to start is with your brand, AfroLems. What drives it? Like, we know it's storytelling, but how would you explain that or describe it to somebody?
Ooh, how do I explain AfroLems? Well, so I'd say that I started from a naive place, a little bit of, and naivety helps explore. If you want to explore, you have to be naive. You have to go in with that mindset. It also helped that my mom was in food. So storytelling came almost naturally because I grew up going to like family menu sets, cooking competition sets. They used to have, I don't want to mention the brand, but you know, they used to have a lot of those. So that was my background, whether I was conscious of it or not. So fast forward, I started to see, I think when I started writing the recipes that I was writing on the blog, I started to see people globally and how they were telling stories. And I was like, I'm not sure we're doing this. And how can we do this better? Because we have cookbooks. There's historical cookbooks, but do people know all the things that are part of our cuisine? So it's not just the food, it's the culture, it's the how you make it, it's the technique, it's the ingredients, it's just the way of life, you know. Food is that one thing that is your introduction into a culture. And so in me thinking about AfroLems and how I've told the story, it's trying to explore those three things: the recipes, the techniques, and the ingredients. With ingredients, I'm playing around with stuff, doing the extensions of things. I think at the time when I started telling the story, people started to get very upset. You know, Nigerians are not they don't like change. And so when I'd play with egusi and say, okay, you could make like pralines with it or do like dark chocolate, it goes really well. And people are looking at you like, it's egusi soup. I want to do soup. I do all these extra things. They were intrigued, but not enough. Yeah, like they didn't want to do too much. And I was happy with so for me, I always say I want to build an audience that at least understands. I don't need the numbers. I just need the involvement. I need you to get it. And so in telling that story, I feel like it'll cascade. So for me, techniques as well. Yes, you could talk about grinding stones. You could talk about all those things, but what was my reality? I had to tell the story from my own perspective. You know, how did I grow up seeing stuff? I talked about that. I also want that the stories that I tell encourage other people to talk about their own. So one of the good things that has really come out of all of this is seeing a lot of food bloggers and even chefs, you know, just now take stuff and run with it. I didn't want to be like the only person like championing something. So even when my mom said she was going to start her food blog, I was like, oh, finally, like someone else that I know that you have all the experience, but I also wanted to see niche stuff. So even with me creating, I was trying to create so that it encourages other people that if it's from your culture, you're doing more of that storytelling. So I like to think of AfroLems as the story that impacts other stories.
Come on. Helen.
No, but literally, like, I wanted to be able to learn from other people. I'm a big believer in iron sharpens iron. So if I'm telling the story, you should be inspired to now tell a different story.
Exactly.
And tell it properly from your own perspective. You know, I can't have perspective for all of Nigeria. So.
Yeah. I think that's probably the best thing I've heard. Not the best thing, because you said amazing things, but my favorite thing you said is that you're very self-aware of understanding that the story that you're telling has to actually come from your perspective.
Yes.
You can't tell someone else's story.
Yes.
And another person's story has to be so, what's the word I'm looking for?
Unique?
When it's like to you, authentic.
Yes.
Yeah. Authentic to themselves. And that was just making me think about why we had been so not hesitant, but why I hadn't seen so much storytelling from a perspective of who are the people really telling the story.
Yeah.
If we aren't telling our own stories, who would? Because it's either your story would get missed out in impactful conversations, or someone else will try and tell an inauthentic story that is no longer, you know, either relevant or, you know, doesn't tell the right information.
It's not the right, it's
That's
not
what
accurate.
I felt sometimes was happening on the international stage. For example, you'd have some people give their prejudice or their view of what they think Nigerian food is, or what they only have experienced, rather than seeing it as this cuisine that has the ability to be transformed, to be explored, to be innovated.
Innovated.
That's a word.
I swear. You were right.
No, to be innovated, is that like the verb?
Yes.
English. Okay. So what would you say the general food story of Nigerian cuisine and Nigeria food and ingredients has been across kind of all platforms? So whether it's traditional media, documentaries, short films, like what what has the story been? Well, I guess from your perspective, what do you feel like it's been? How is it like evolved?
How is it evolved?
Yes, thank you.
Nigerian food story. I feel like growing up, again, back to the show that I was talking about, there was a lot more there in terms of what we have in Nigeria, like soups, stews, pottages, all of that. I felt like there was a broader picture. Post my food blogging time, it seems to be the same thing. But it's evolving to the story that we're telling, where we're now looking for new uses of things, because people are now saying, okay, how many ways are we going to make jollof rice? I mean, it's good. It's important to have those variations, but I feel like now everybody's trying to move on from, I'm going to say everybody, some people are trying to move on from that. We've flogged this
one
story. Yeah, and it's important to, so I feel like there's the PR side of things where we need to have the hero dishes that go outside. That's important. But I think it's also important to now tell the other story of what else is possible. The possibilities are important. Nigerian food history has been very influenced by other cultures without us even realizing.
Yeah.
I'd say the British culture, obviously, with colonization, there's a lot of things. I mean, meat pie. If you ask a Nigerian, Nigerians believe meat pie is their own. It's not. But it's not. Like, if you had to call different Nigerian dishes, those things are going to make the list.
Yeah.
But it's because of influences. Even curry, like as an ingredient, is not ours.
Not us, yeah.
But it's so ingrained in Nigerian dishes now. So I feel like from before, we told more authentic stories. Now we're like in the middle, where a lot of influences have come in and we're exposed, we're traveling more, people are moving around more, Japa, the whole thing. It's influencing how we also now interact with our food. What I'm hoping would happen is that we go back to the basics.
So are you saying you feel like it's a bit diluted?
It can, because I don't know that a lot of people are telling the back end story.
I think we've had this discussion on a previous episode, I think last season, where we talked about how a lot of people aren't educated on how much what they think is traditional isn't.
Yeah.
And how since post-colonialism, like there's post-colonial Nigerian food. And what were we cooking? What were we eating beforehand?
Before that.
And that's when it goes into really looking at how the tribes and different cultures within Nigeria have their unique, authentic dishes. And I think that's what maybe you're saying. And I do agree. I think when was it? I think it was a Nigerian Food Summit where they had the soup display of how many different soups that there are in Nigeria. And here we are on TikTok just discussing egusi, for example.
Yeah.
So we have this hyperfixation community right now, society, rather than saying, okay, as Nigerians, let's really look and celebrate how many cultures are in our country, and let's show that story of showcasing just how
What else there is, basically.
what's the word?
Vast.
How vast we are as a nation.
I also think that we're back to the thing about Nigerians not liking change. We're not willing to go outside of our culture.
Yes.
Food-wise, unless it's popular. So, Edika Ukoh is popular in Efik cuisine, but as it made its way to Lagos, everybody's like, where Edika Ukoh? That's not even how to pronounce it.
Interesting.
Right? So, if I ask you, do you know Mergi Special? It's from Adamawa, right? That's a soup, that's a vegetable soup with fish from Adamawa. But even Mergi Special, as popular as it is there, hasn't made its way down here because we don't know.
Because we don't know.
Right? So there's a lot of things that even in the country, we haven't gone out to explore.
Even within the state.
I'm
so sorry. Within the state.
Within the states.
Even, I remember when I first went down to Epe, I went to the fish market there and was just discussing the different produce, and just to see how there's certain sea produce that is not even part of the cuisine of Lagos.
Yeah.
It's so fascinating to me that there's a water Lagos and there's a land Lagos. Do you know what I mean? It's funny.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot to explore.
So basically, there are loads of stories not being told.
Yes.
That is quite fascinating. now having this understanding that there's a lot to explore and there's so much that's untouched and untapped, what would you say? I feel like from what we were saying, because even just that soup one day I've said, my brain is doing it. The wheels are turning. I'm like, Atim, we're doing a soup tour. Don't know how we're going to do it. Don't know how we're going to execute.
Yeah.
And I feel like me and you have sat down before and spoken about like a tour. And I feel like, so I love how what I'm about to say kind of ties into something that's very specific to you, especially, well, all of us here, but you. Creativity. I don't think as creatives I say chefs and culinary artists are multifaceted creatives, because our creativity kind of hits various intersections. Because it's one thing to, take an ingredient, turn it into something. It's a whole other thing to put it on a plate and then make it look presentable. It's another thing to then take that plate and photograph it, or like style it in a way that translate in imagery and film. It's then another thing to like present that, whether it's like curating a dining experience and like put that to a bunch of people. Then even when you're explaining the menus, there's creativity in the spoken word of you explaining your like, when I say we're multifaceted creators, I don't say it lightly. And I feel like, and it's something that I've mentioned, that when we're talking of the creative economy, for instance, in Nigeria, it gets left out because they want to do film and they want to do fashion and they want to film. We can do food film. There is so much
heavily lacking.
We don't want to watch 7 lads go into South Africa or wherever they're going. We don't want to watch housewives in Ikota. We do, but we don't. Do you know what I mean?
Like, that's also important.
It's important, but I just mean that there's too much of the same going on in those spaces, whereas we're sitting here and we're realizing there's a whole untapped.
Yeah. I have been...
Someone should be doing what Anthony Bourdain was doing, but for Nigeria.
I am drooling at the opportunity of entering film, documentary,
100%.
storytelling in that visual angle, traveling, because I love to travel. And I've traveled, I just find myself traveling around the world all the time, but I want to, and shout out to Faz for what he's done.
Yes. 100%.
Fully showing that a Nigerian can go up and down this whole country, and he did it solo.
On a budget as well. He wasn't even doing Bridgie Bagman outside.
It started to choke me when I would see on TikTok, there's white people out of, non-Nigerians traveling to places that I've never even seen.
She said it started to choke me. I feel the sentiment.
Yeah. Some people, they'll fly into our countries, and it's not just Lagos they're going to, Abuja. They're entering a public taxi and going to other states and experiencing things that I haven't even experienced.
Yeah. But do you know the interesting thing about this, and we're going to kind of segue into a whole other thing, is that when they go and they're able to do this, there's a privilege that's given to them because they are white. Yeah. And because if it was one of us, they'd kidnap us. So it's like this double-edged sword.
That's why I will shout Pelumi, another one, who still managed to, through the disadvantages and the prejudice and the shaggy,
because that's its way.
And she's doing it again. I see she's going on through to Gambia.
She's doing Senegambia, and
there's always going to be something that's in our way.
Yeah,
but it takes that brave person to
say fuck that, basically. Are you going to do this? Are you ready?
So I went on a food tour with a brand around Nigeria, different states. I was supposed to be teaching them food photography. It's fun times.
You're meant to teach them what?
Food photography to students. Don't know that did much for anybody, but that travel really helped me understand the Nigerian food landscape. First of all, just even understanding what people thought about certain things. So I'll go there, and I think I was fresh from Canada at the time, so I'm like, saying things that seemed I guess far-fetched for the Nigerian students, because if you think about the Nigerian students, they're trying to eat, they're trying to just daily bread, Indomie, keep it moving. But when I'm talking about how to style food, they're mostly lost.
Yeah, that's true.
But that trip also, just in general, I went out of my way to just start to discover different things. So there's this little mango thing. It was called chapule. They have it in Yola, and it was everywhere. It was literally everywhere. The people that are pushing the wheelbarrow have it. It was like just different. There are different fruits. There are different foods. Just different things everywhere. So going with a brand or going with someone to sponsor, I think helps. So the white people that are going around Nigeria are also going with security.
Yeah.
I think there's just a lot of financial investments that is required, to do it. Going into those spaces with a brand was easier for me because they took care of everything. But if you don't know anybody in these places, sometimes you go in and you try to ask questions and people are looking at you like, who's this person? So I think doing a tour, which is why what FAST is doing is excellent, But going in, especially as women in Nigeria to other states, is very important to have like solid backing.
I think when we see more of these initial steps being taken and more measures, it will prompt the right type of, procedures or processes to be put in place, because it just opens up the market to a lot more business, local tour guides or local state guides or things like that, local opportunities for governments in each state to establish these kind of protocols so that they can ensure that people are traveling through their state safely.
Yeah. I do want to ask something there. I want to touch on something, but I want to address something. So, in all that we've said, we have acknowledged that you work at many subsections, intersections of the industry. But one thing you do a lot that gets me is that you always go and always say to people, I'm not a chef. Why is that?
I feel like I didn't start out wanting to be one. I do chef things, but I also do other things. And so me saying I'm a chef boxes me mentally into just this one thing.
Yeah.
To be honest, I feel like the chef phase is a phase for me.
Yeah.
If I say I'm a chef today, I almost feel like I have the responsibility to carry it through my life, and I don't think I want to.
Yeah.
Because with age, after a while, I'm not going to have the energy for it.
Yeah.
But I want to do other things. And so I don't want that to be the crown that I wear. Other people wear beautifully. So, that's
I agree with that. I do
agree with
that. I said that on a lot of my platforms as well, that I'm not just a chef. And I called myself a creative entrepreneur. I didn't start off in the culinary industry, and it's not where I see myself in who knows how many years. I see myself doing a lot of other things. However, I do wear the chef hat when it's time to wear the chef hat. But I take it off and people know me in a plethora of different names. So that's fair.
Yeah, because I started out as a business person, caterer-ish, then moved into food blogging, and then moved into chef life, and then there's food film, and there's other things, and I just didn't want to box myself.
So you're a culinary, what's the word you use? She's a culinary innovator, which basically means she's a culinary superhero.
Yes,
and I fuck with that.
And you're at the forefront of a lot of things happening. So, that sounds good. So, I still think though, whether we like it or not, you do see yourself in the chef-led spaces with events and the business of AfroLems and AfroLems events and things you do. It's important. I think it's interesting to find your perspective, since we've had this discussion on storytelling and looking at what's traditional to Nigeria, what isn't traditional. When it comes to events itself and dealing with clients and guests, let's say for parties, events, even like the whole Owambe style of things, for example, what has been considered traditional and sacred to Nigerian events, and what have we had the opportunity to innovate?
So personally, the AfroLems brand doesn't play in the traditional for events.
I agree.
In fact, I always tell the event planner, look, I'm not the jollof rice person. I can find you somebody. That's not me. Not because I can't cook a mean jollof rice. It's just That's not me.
Yeah.
And it's important to define that from day one. I think people are afraid to do that sometimes. They're like, oh, let me take on everything. Let me just...
we say that a lot here.
If I feel like, literally, I'll tell the clients, I don't feel like making jollof for your event. And that's okay. I can find you the person, but it's not me.
Yeah.
The day that I feel like I'm going to make jollof, but you're going to have it my way.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do raisins in it. I'm going to do almonds. I'm going to do cheese in it. I'm going to do extra stuff.
I would like some of this raisin jollof rice.
Yeah. So for me, let's respect the people that do what they do and do it well. But when you come to my brand, I'm going to give you the ofada meat pie. I'm going to give you the smoked chicken spring rolls. I'm going to give you all the things that you're used to, but different. Right.
Plantain Scotch egg. She did not say that one.
Plantain Scotch egg.
What?
Yes, the plantain Scotch egg.
That is a meat,
Yes.
and I don't like a boiled egg, but I like that one. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, so for me, playing in that space, what is traditional to people, still the jollof rice, fried rice, moi moi, soups, abula, everything, in that space. But I'm seeing a lot of food businesses and caterers now trying to play with presentation. So at first it's just the big spoon that you scoop.
That's the dome.
Yeah, the dome one. But then I'm seeing people like pipe their asaro.
Yeah.
Right? So people are playing with that as well. So is it asaro? Yes. But is it presented differently?
Yes.
Yes. So I'm seeing that. And it's heartwarming. Don't slap stuff on the plates. Just make it look nice.
I saw mini abula cups. at the event.
Yes.
I don't
Yes,
understand.
I've seen
How
that.
do you eat abula as mini?
Is literally a small...
So you don't shut
No.
Sorry, because that's what I would do.
No. A little scoop. It's like 3 scoops and you're done.
Yeah.
Who the fuck wants to eat 3 scoops of abula?
I guess those that have corset
So,
and
do you understand? Like,
You know the other thing is, in my corset, I will eat that big bowl and then I'll figure the rest of it out after.
yeah.
But yeah, no.
3 scoops is fine for me, to be honest, at an event. I don't want too
never
much.
be back.
Because I want to try other things as well. So let me not fill up my stomach.
I will fill up, then I'll still eat that abula.
That's it.
There's
I will
always
start with the
room.
abula. I
There's
will
always
fill up
room.
on that.
That's
I will
good.
go find somewhere to loosen my corset, get the bit of the wire that's digging in me,
Yeah.
and then go back for round 2 and 3. But
But
okay.
it's a good thing to see that people are looking at other avenues in the event space. I do think before it was, you have to have this, and this is the only way an event is successful in the culinary. Look at the culinary perspective. Of things. If you don't have the firewood, if you don't have the abula or that Chinese, I don't understand why it's even there. To be honest,
Oh no, people love Nigerians love their Chinese. They do.
That's the first thing I would
Nigerian Chinese.
Yeah, no, Nigerian Chinese is a,
90% of people food poisoning too. Let's be real. Let's be real.
I don't be eating it out. I don't eat Chinese food here. Come to think of it.
But you know something that is new-ish in the Owambe space is canapes.
Yes.
We never really used to have canapé service.
Small chops.
No, literally canapes before the event starts. So that's happening now. That's new. So you have like the guests come in and then they'll have their welcome canapes and drinks. Then they'll sit and then they'll have main food and then small chops comes after.
My only problem is some people tell you they want canapes, but what they want is small chops.
And no, this is what we're offering you.
And that's really truly good sometimes.
Had that.
No.
No.
Where you've gone somewhere and they told you small
Well,
chops.
I'm not
it's
front of
canapes.
house enough to hear it.
But from the
But
client perspective, if they come
But
to
we
you saying
have
they
puff
want,
puff on our thing. We have spring rolls on our menu as well. So does it maybe trick them to believe that
that it's small
small
chops-esque.
chops-esque here? Then there's that. So I think it's also finding the middle ground for Nigerians sometimes.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing for me. Sometimes the lines are aggressively blurred. So it's like you say, okay, it's canapé. They ask you for canapé service. You send your banging canapé menu. They say, oh, there's no spring roll, there's no samosa.
Yeah, you have to play with those things.
Say,
You have to play with those things.
I'll be excited to see more progression in that front of seeing. I've experienced that too, but I think we're in a place where it's starting to move a lot more, and people are more willing to actually.
But you know what
experience
my favorite thing is in that like whole event catering? These table spread things, fancy ass, buffet spread things.
Love
that
it.
The people them are doing. I love it.
Love it.
There's Chef Tucker that's doing it. He does it great. There's this girl Yo-Yo. She does it.
You've done it too.
Yeah, Atim does it. Atim be doing it. But I really like that. That's something I like because it's finding this middle ground between, you know, almost like a buffet-ish, but then it's a nice spread. It's presented nicely. It's curated. It allows everyone to get a bit of everything. No one feels kind of cheated because you're not serving people and someone says, oh, I didn't get my own. I really do like that concept. Wouldn't do it.
As long as it's indoors.
Yeah.
Because the flies outside. Oh yeah, some people try to do outdoors. I'm like, we're in Nigeria. This is not a spring.
It's not where we are.
Situation,
where we are.
Because all of those flies, everybody.
Because even indoors, it's still a struggle depending on where. If your table setup is too close to the door, you're still at risk. So
That's
and also even timing as well, because they've told you to set up the table doesn't mean people are coming to eat immediately, and then it's just a long thing. But yeah, fun times.
So one question, do you think before we round up, just one question, do you think we can ever see a successful Owambe without jollof rice?
No, of course not.
Of course, there's some things. I think it's one of those. Yeah, there's some things that I'll say that are. It's like
There's no party without
there's
jollof.
no party with jollof. The day you go somewhere without jollof, cause for concern.
There would be a riot.
Yeah,
Cause for concern.
because
What do you mean
everybody's
there's
gonna
no
be
jollof
looking
on
like,
the
so
menu?
where's the real?
Somebody is going to be. Do you know what? As a Yoruba babe, I can guarantee you that one auntie will come out with jollof rice.
Of course,
Like, don't worry, I've got you, man.
There's no jollof rice, let me make it cold.
I'll make a soup.
And she's coming in because
No,
that
to be
is
fair,
unfathomable.
I had a brand event, and it was supposed to be like fine dining. Yeah.
They used to use that fine dining so much.
Anyway, so events is done, and everybody's like, so is there jollof rice coming? I'm like, this was like a whiskey pairing. And if we wanted to put jollof rice, we would have done that, but they ordered it. We were on the beach. Yeah, they were like, oh, this was really lovely.
Been there.
But yeah, no, they ordered jollof
They
rice.
did that to me once. I didn't.
They made me serve the food too.
A client did that to me.
I've experienced it as a chef where after my experience there was jollof rice.
They waited till after. So we did the first, the starters and the mains. And they started serving jollof rice.
Yeah.
And they made me stall on the dessert so that they could make sure everyone was full with the jollof rice. I was like, so why didn't you guys just, go for like a more robust menu with me?
No, because they want to experience.
I don't understand.
They want to experience
They
it.
all box up, like me and my waiters were plating and sending out jollof rice for
To be
them.
honest, sometimes when you're on the other side of the table, I've been a guest and we had this whole amazing birthday brunch with the food display. It was gorgeous.
But you needed
kid
your
you not, when that jollof rice came out after the smile on my face, my stomach was satisfied. Yeah.
And then I
get it.
And I was just like, okay, Nigerians are gonna be Nigerians, and you really just have to accept it.
And sometimes like mentally you're not full till you've had that rice.
Yes.
You know?
I don't even like rice like that, and I guess that's another thing for me. So this has been a great conversation.
Yes.
Atim, thank you so much for joining us.
Of course.
We'll have more.
Now I'm afraid.
We have the one bite segment.
We should actually have a jingle for this.
We need to. So, where is the event industry going in terms of culinary innovation? Some may say entertainment has now become a heavy part of an Owambe or a birthday. Some would say if you don't have this entertainment, you're done. There have been some videos I've been seeing very interesting videos on social media, and I'd like to highlight two. She's already had it. I'm not even mentioned.
We're good.
So there's been two that have been extremely rampant online. There's these twin brothers, I think they are, that do these guinea fowl displays. And I saw one video where they came in a throne. They were carried into the event space in thrones. And, music. It was giving Pretty Mike entrance with Pretty Mike was first, I think, the first trend of these things, and it became culinary. So you come in with your posse came in with a throne, then they were placed down music, it was giving dorime, you know, all that kind of smoke, fire, fireworks, and then they display their table and there's like 200 guinea fowls and they're just chopping, and it's like, what is going on here?
Okay.
Then I've also seen a pepper soup displayed by, I think her name is Betty,
The pepper soup
the pepper soup queen. Is that how she calls herself? And some of them, I think she starts off quite demure, and it's now smokes and screens. And I saw one with the very cultural, ritualistic.
Yeah,
smoke,
that's the one I saw.
and I was like, oh,
Ooh.
there was like a cauldron smoke. So, what's your take on where things are going?
Just one bite, babe. Just one.
Yeah. Okay, so culinary entertainment is important. But I think we need to be intelligent with how we do it, so that the essence is not lost. That's all I'll say.
Atim said, let's be guided.
No. So, yeah, no, it's important. But let the essence not be lost. Those things they bring the attention. I get why it's done, but let's stay with the core of why we're doing it.
Yeah.
And make it skill. Yeah.
My one bite on this. So as a lot of people will know, I'm very heavy on focusing on the crafts. Like, the craft should always be your thing. To me, personally, that's how I see it. Because I feel like all the extra stuff, more times than not, there are a few exceptions to the rule, but more times than not are a smokescreen or a distraction from the fact that maybe what you're putting out there isn't necessarily great. So it's a compensation for whatever it is you're serving people. And surprisingly for me, I know that one exception to the rule is pepper soup queen, because her pepper soup is good. I'm not ever I'm not a liar. Many things, never a liar. Pepper soup is good. So I know that maybe she, in her case, I can speak on her from somewhat level of personalness. It's not a word, but you get my gist. That it's a thing where, you know, she's maybe doing what people are saying, advising her to do, or like she thinks that this is the one that's gonna work for whatever it is she's doing. But more times than not, it's very much this compensation for, or feeding into what Nigerians like. Nigerians love a show. They love a sereme. They love a...
To be fair, the whole world does.
The whole world does, but let's be real. Us as Nigerians, we do love a show. Let's be so fucking for real. We love a good...
Bruja.
Yeah, bruja. Honestly, we love it. And so sometimes... It's working. If you can figure out how it works for your business model, and you are of that type of person that's willing to do that kind of thing, do your thing in it. I'm gonna judge you personally, but do you in it, because if there's money in your account, who the fuck am I? But I will say there are case studies for how it can be done well.
But art is in art is in the eye of the
beholder or the curator. Yeah, and that's why I say there's case studies of where it can be done well. One case study is Eros. He has figured out a way to do this whole presentation thing, and it doesn't take away from his work. Like, people acknowledge his work, the crafts and the food that's coming out is worth it. But the entertainment aspect of it is a bonus. It adds to the experience, which is what a lot of us are trying to curate experiences. And I just feel like it's a hit and miss sometimes. Them Guinea Fowl brothers, I don't know what they're doing. I can't speak to their thing. It looks ridiculous to me. obviously the people that are paying for you to put that shit in the middle of their party, that's their cup of tea, that's their people them's cup of tea, so do you. But my thing is, if you're doing stuff like that, let the craft, let the work, which is the food, the thing that we're focusing on, let it be immaculate, make it be faultless, so that whatever it is you're doing on the side, it's just noise, so to speak. Do you get what I mean? That was a couple of bites, but you get my gist.
That was a whole meal, girl. But a necessary meal.
Yes.
My one bite is simple. To be an experience doesn't mean it has to be a ritual.
Yeah.
There's other beautiful ways of experiencing our culture.
But there's dark art.
I just said there's other ways. It doesn't have to be the only way.
Yeah. So there's a chef, I forget where he's from. There's a chef that had like this very dark, not Nigeria chef, I think he's Asian, but had this very dark expression of food. Like his dinners were very gory. He would walk, like the whole room is blacked out and the guests are sat on the table, and he will walk in with like blood on his shirts, his chef jacket, knife, everything. And even the food, in the way he's presenting, is very like eyeballs, but then he's obviously his actual food, but he's doing things like eyeballs, like very Halloween-esque, but that's his thing.
That's brand.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's his thing. Yeah. So I'm saying like there's dark art.
Yeah,
The expression of,
it's not the only way.
yeah,
That's
of
literally
course,
just my one
there's-
bite. And
yeah,
I think
it could be
if it's
anything.
going to be entering a place of culinary entertainment, there's so many other ways to think outside the box. It doesn't have to be the only way.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to see more beautiful ways of showcasing Nigerian culture
Mm-hmm.
through entertainment in that space.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all one bite. Or 3 bites. Because
And on that note,
And on that note, we really enjoy that. I really enjoy that.
we both enjoyed that. So, Atim, thank you so much.
Thank
This has
you.
been great to hear your perspective on Nigerian storytelling. I think it's exciting to know that there's just so much more to do with us,
Yeah.
and
All you scratching the
I've been
surface.
inspired, to think outside and to really dig into the vastness of Nigerian cuisine.
Yes.
So no, thank you so much for coming on and educating us.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you for having me.
As always, you can find all the episodes on YouTube and all the podcast streaming platforms that you use.
And make sure to like, follow, subscribe, comment, all that jazz by following us at OneBitePod_ on all social media platforms. And special shout out to our venue partners, Melee, for giving us this amazing space to educate you once and for all.
And of course, as usual, we want to thank our sponsors, the Bodega Emporium and Circa Lagos, for buying into our vision and supporting us.
We look forward to dishing it out with you this season.
One bite
at a time.